Austin, so great to chat to you. Congratulations on the film, and I guess welcome back to Australia.
Thank you so much.
I know you've spent a bit of time here filming for Elvis. So how does it feel being back on Australian shores?
It always feels like coming back home. I was here for a long time, and for a very particular time. You know, when COVID kicked off, and then our film shut down, and I have a lot of memories here, so it always feels good being back.
Benny is such a complex and nuanced character. Yeah. Is there any kind of traits about him that you particularly admire?
What do I admire? His loyalty, his fearlessness. You know, he's not afraid of pain. He's not afraid of confrontation. And he's such an individual, you know, he doesn't care what people think about him. He doesn't need anything from anybody. It's empowering getting to sort of step in his shoes for a bit.
In an interview that I watched earlier, Jeff Nichols said that he had to tell you to stop smiling just to kind of get into that,
he said that?
Stoic face.
Yeah, I think he's probably referring to when I was on the bike, because it was so fun being on a motorcycle. I had to continually remind myself, don't look like you're enjoying this as much as you are.
And speaking of the bikes, like how did it feel kind of riding those, 1965 Harleys?
It's incredible. And with no helmet on, you're not allowed to do that in California. It was exhilarating.
Was there kind of much training that you had to do? Or
I had months of, this image behind you, one of these guys is Jeff Milburn, who most of the motorcycles are his own. And he was our motorcycle stunt. He was the head of the motorcycle stunt department. And he and I, many months before we started shooting, got together and we rode every day. And there were days where we'd be on a motorcycle for 12 hours riding together. And I rode so many different bikes and just learned all the different nuances. They each have their own personality, these old bikes. And so it was like, it's like dating all the different motorcycles. You know?
Anything that surprised you about the bikes in particular?
About those? Well, I mean, just with a new car or a new motorcycle, when you touch the brakes, it's a smooth, the brakes listen to you. With these, they don't want to listen. So you really gotta grip down, and there's moments where, and they don't have ABS, brakes, and so you can lock it up, and so that you got to be more careful. The clutch doesn't really want to work. You feel the gears clicking into place, but in a way you end up feeling more. It feels more like an extension of you because you feel every element. So that's great.
And I guess Benny's character in the film is known never to cry. Do you relate to that in any way? Is that something?
No, I cry more than Benny. I often find I need a good cry sometimes.
When are the moments that we will catch you crying?
When's one of the moments? I don't know. I mean, I talked about this the other day. That Adam Sandler movie, Click, that made me cry a lot. The movie About Time, that made me cry. Have you seen that movie?
No.
About Time? Oh my God. Have you seen that movie? Nobody's seen this? That movie crushed me. It's like, Bill Nighy and Domhnall Gleeson, and Rachel McAdams, right? And Margot Robbie. There's so many great actors in it. It's wonderful.
Oh, let's watch that.
If you like a tearjerker, that one will rip your heart out.
And I guess that type of stoicism, would you say that's kind of like a strength or a flaw, or is it
stoicism? I think it absolutely can be a strength. The ability to be, it depends on how you use it, I guess, because I do think vulnerability is a strength, but there's definitely a benefit and a strength in being able to hold space for somebody else, and not to be able to be a mountain in the face of somebody else's extreme emotion. I think that's an admirable trait, for sure.
Tom Hardy on this film was incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing, isn't he?
He was so good to watch, and he was so kind of mesmerizing to see him play Johnny. What it was like working with him?
He is, he's a dynamic, amazing person to work with. He's, as a human being, he has such a open, deep heart, a surprising sense of humor. Like he's made me laugh more than almost anybody else in my life. Like when he tells a joke or he tells you a story, he'll have you in stitches, which I wasn't expecting because he's in so many of his performances. He's so intense and has such a strength about him, and he has all that in spades. But I think that's what makes him such a dynamic actor. Is there's like this tornado of energy inside of him, and then when he channels it, it's remarkable to witness. And his relationship with the camera is something to learn from for sure.
Is there a particular scene, I guess, with both you and Tom that stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, there's many, but the one where we're all by the campfire, and Michael Shannon's telling his story, and then when Tom and I go off, and he offers me the club, right? That was initially, in Jeff's mind, that was going to be a scene where we were separated, we're 6 feet apart or something, and we're having this conversation, and Tom got up, and then he got close, and he got closer and closer until he was in that range where, in day-to-day life you don't feel that level of intimacy in a way, to where you don't know if somebody's gonna headbutt you or they're gonna kiss you, and that creates this incredible tension, and it was amazing, to feel that, and to feel his presence in that way, and then to hold that space and to push back on it and to not back down and to feel that tension and not need to necessarily do anything about it. That intensity, it was, that's something that Jeff and I didn't expect, and that's something that Tom brought, and it was incredible.
For the film, you were covered in these amazing tattoos.
Yeah.
Were any of those real?
I wish. I only have one tattoo, but man, I almost got that. I've got this peacock tattoo on my arm in the film, and when you wear them for months at a time, and then you finally have to take them off, suddenly your arms feel so naked. So I just wore tattoos in another film as well, and every time I think I'm gonna end up with sleeves, but then you have to spend so many hours in the makeup chair covering them up for other films, and so then you got to get there 3 hours early to cover up your tattoos. So that's the thing that's held me back from it, but maybe there'll come a day. I don't know.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, man. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.